Hello and welcome to the Energy Connect studio at Future Energy Asia Summit and Exhibition 2024 in Bangkok. I'm delighted to have joining me in the studio today Anatol Feygin, Executive Vice President and Chief Commercial Officer at Cheniere. Thank you so much, Anatol, for joining us and welcome back to the studio.
Of course, thanks for having us.
And to start off, let's talk about LNG. And how's the global LNG sector shaping up in the backdrop of the US LNG pause and the growing demand for natural gas?
Well, I think first of all, as we're here, I think in the third conference post-COVID, we're finally in a period where markets have stabilized at levels that I think are more representative of where we will find LNG moving forward, prices that are less volatile, of course, than we've seen starting in late 21 and, of course, post the Ukraine war. So healthy markets, rebalancing, looking forward to additional supply to continue to support growth and growth that will be driven by this theater. So overall, a very healthy backdrop and happy to have the crisis and the kind of emergency reallocation of volumes behind us. Now, of course, as a result of that period, the LNG market has dispatched quite a substantial amount of growth, so that's circa 200 million tons that's under construction that will be coming to market, will continue to be healthy, and of course the DOE pause that is playing out against that backdrop is not having any impact on product that's facilities that are under construction. So we'll see ultimately what happens for Cheniere. We've been quite public that the pause, we don't expect it to materially affect our projects, and the project that's under construction at Corpus, the expansion of that project, which we call mid-scale 8 and 9, and then subsequent to that, our expansion at Sabine Pass, we don't see being affected by the pause.
That's great to know. And then continuing that thread, could you talk to us about some of Cheniere's recent accomplishments and projects that are in the pipeline?
Well, I think as we assess what we have done over the, let's say, a dozen years that we've been focusing on the LNG export business, the thing that we are the proudest of is our track record of safely and reliably delivering the cargoes that we have produced to date. We're fortunate that the team has done that for almost 3,500 cargoes without missing a single foundation customer cargo, and that's something that is really foundational to our future. We continue to execute projects on time, on budget. Our average for the 9 operating trains has been to bring them on 9 months ahead of schedule. The project that's under construction today at Corpus, Stage 3, the guarantee for LNG from the first train is October of 25, and we are on track to have first LNG from that before the end of the year, so circa, again, 9 months early. So those are the current accomplishments and what we are laser focused on, as well as, of course, the expansion of Sabine Pass that we have substantially contracted already, and look forward to doing more before we get that project off the ground, we think in 2026.
That's great. And then circling back to your earlier comment about the DOE pause, and while you said that there's no immediate material impact in terms of business, but here in Asia there's been quite a lot of discussion around that. So going forward, how do you see the role of LNG in Asia's future energy mix?
Well, I think LNG will continue to play a critical role. I think as you think about the different regions and different markets, the solutions will be quite heterogeneous, and LNG as a product we believe has a key role to play, but it is a modest role in the scheme of total primary energy demand. It is something that's flexible, dispatchable. Obviously our product has full destination flexibility, and with that can help offset the intermittency of renewables, can help countries reach their emissions goals and profiles. So we do think that it has a very important role to play. From the standpoint of DOE pause, as you asked, it's not unprecedented, as has been said quite often. In fact, after Cheniere first launched the LNG export era from the lower 48, the DOE conducted the first set of these comprehensive studies in 2012 through 2014, and we are very much in agreement that further reassessment and inclusion of current views on methane science, fugitive methane emissions, should be something that's incorporated in the public interest determination. So we are fully supportive of DOE's efforts to reassess that. We're very confident that the ultimate outcome will be the same as it has been in the previous two major assessments, that it is in the public interest. But as the DOE learns more about the product and how the US and North American market reacts to increased LNG exports, we think it would be inappropriate for the DOE to not conduct these additional assessments. Whether the pause itself was explicitly necessary or not is a fair question, but again, we think it'll be in the rearview mirror for us within a year.
That's an excellent point. And just to take that forward, in terms of emissions, and you spoke about methane emissions, do you think that the LNG sector and the industry in general is doing enough to curb emissions?
It's hard to say whether it's doing enough. What I can tell you is that our supply chain, our producing partners, our shipping partners, the infrastructure that is between us and the production facilities is very focused on continuous improvement of its emissions profile. That's not something that I would have said to you, 4 or 5 years ago. It is something that the industry has shifted towards, and what the immediate catalyst for that was is hard to say, but the industry has clearly moved away from a focus almost singularly on growth and the ability to increase hydrocarbon output, to now much more of a focus on its life cycle emissions, its social license to operate, and as our friends at PTT said today, the social license to grow, which is even more relevant, and of course capital discipline, which is another leg to the stool today that perhaps didn't exist 4 or 5 years ago. So it is very focused. Technologies are being developed, capital is being deployed, solutions are being advanced fairly quickly. Who's to say whether that is sufficient? But it is a very important focus for the industry writ large, and certainly for Cheniere.
And we see some of that focus here at Future LNG Asia as well as Future Energy Asia. It's the first day today, and the show is busy. What are your thoughts, and what is Cheniere showcasing here at the show?
Well, the focus, I think every panel spoke one way or another, either explicitly or in reference to the energy trilemma. We're of the view that, this speaks to your previous question, we're of the view that it's not really a choice. We're of the view that LNG can deliver all 3 legs of that stool, especially coming from us. That focus on the emissions profile, the life cycle profile of our product is a key component to that, as is the affordability and the reliability. And our ability, inception to date, of delivering this product safely and reliably, as well as affordably, which in part is a function of the commodity backdrop of North America, which we are very much believers in long term. We think that gas prices in North America will be well behaved. It is not something that we are exposed to. As Cheniere, we pass that through to our customers, but clearly our customers need to believe that in order to commit to these multi-decade offtake agreements. So we're really highlighting all 3 legs of that, and we're highlighting our commitment to do that responsibly and to do that in support of our customers and their growth ambitions, as well as their climate commitments. So there are many legs of our pitch, and we're redoubling efforts to continue to deliver on those.
Anatol, it's such a pleasure to talk to you, and thank you so much for joining us here at the studio and for your superb insights.
Thanks for having us.
And wish you the very best for the rest of the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching, and I'll be back with more studio interviews from Future Energy Asia. A quick reminder to follow us on LinkedIn and all our other social channels, and see you soon.